All right, welcome back to Blue by 90, presented by Maize and Brew. I am Justin, joined by Jack and Caitlin as always. Boys, it is Big Ten Championship Week. We've never been able to say that. It feels freaking good to say that, man. Come on. We are playing for a title. How you guys doing?
Feeling great. Feeling great. I'll tell you what, boys. First time Michigan beat Ohio State in over 10 years. I've got I don't know if I've talked about this on here before or not, but I have a bet with a coworker about, working out 5 days a week. And I needed to do my 5th day on Sunday. And if I didn't do 5 days, I got to pay him $100. As soon as I woke up, I was like, you know what? This is the best $100 I ever spent. I'm just going to enjoy this weekend. And then I went and picked up It's Just Wings and did nothing on Sunday. It was incredible. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good.
Good for you.
I think, I've talked to a bunch of people about this that have just like, it's Wednesday and nobody has come off their high yet. It's still just been like unbelievable. I know people that I was talking to my cousin today and he's like, I've watched the game twice a day ever since Saturday.
That's what everybody's saying. Heather's like, can you stop watching that? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I can't stop.
I will never stop. It's been every time I watch Pump It Up videos, I watch the Storm in the Field, I watch these guys just playing their hearts out. It really was that magical of a day that like I have chosen to relive it and will continue to choose to relive it forever and ever.
Well, the best thing about it too is you guys know this. Every time that fucking 2016 replay is on the Big Ten network, like Big Ten football in 60. I watch it every time and I just torture myself. I've got a game. Now I've got a game that when they put on, I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I can't wait till they do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you'll be partying just like the game's actually going on, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the thing about this week, man. This week has been like, I'm like at work, like, gosh, this needs to go faster. I just need to get to Saturday.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the week feels like it's flying by for me.
Same.
I don't know about you guys.
I don't have enough time because honestly, content going out on social media right now, it's like people can't get enough of it, and I love it, including myself. I'm just like, all I do is just keep scrolling, and I'm like that. Let me watch this video, let me rewatch this one. It's just I can't get enough right now. So it's been very fun, and I mean, getting to like the rest of the week, I'm just like, I don't know when are fans. I'm hoping the team has flip the page to Iowa because I don't know when fans are going to flip the page to Iowa. It's going to be like Saturday midday and everyone's going to be like, oh, we got a game to play this week.
We are holding on to this forever. Dude, I do want to talk about that tweet that I sent you guys. Michigan Ohio State game was the most watched game on Fox ever. And it was the most watched game on Saturday over like Alabama, Auburn, like all those rivalry games by 5.5 million people. It was the most watched game by 5.5 million. That is insane. It wasn't even close.
It was insane. Even like Fox Noon Big Kickoff or whatever they call it was like had 3.5 million viewers just for that. So people talk about, oh, Michigan Ohio State isn't even a rivalry, blah blah blah. It means a lot to a lot of people. I think that shows that. But I think that the best part of that was 15 million people watched Michigan beat that ass on Saturday. That's what I love the most about it.
Change the narrative, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's the best rivalry in sports, right? And one team that was getting dominated for a while, everybody knew was like, hey, they got a spark here. Something's going on. They got some energy. They're playing Pump It Up. Like, let me turn this on, right? And they all got to witness the ass kicking.
I am hoping I know we're not getting sick of it, but I hope everybody else is still enjoying Pump It Up as much as we are. I mean, the amount of times they played it at the game, I was like, this is the greatest day of my life.
It's incredible. We need to get a hold of, if anybody knows the Lucas Oil Stadium DJ, we have a one song request we'd like to put in, please. And I mean, I've watched so many of these videos, and shout out to everyone that sent them in to us. We're putting together something that will come out too, but it's been awesome to see how everybody has enjoyed Pump It Up from like every angle of the stadium. It is so cool to see everybody going with it. And like we said on Sunday, it got louder every single time it played. Yeah. So there was some conversation before the game. Do we play it for every touchdown or do we not? You know, I'm talking to my fiance and they're like thinking like, oh, are people going to get sick of it? People absolutely did not get sick of it on Saturday. So shout out to the fan experience team at Michigan for putting on a hell of a show on Saturday. And hey, the other thing that I want to talk about here, how about Matt Leinart? How about Joel Klatt saying it was the best atmosphere, not this year, not this week, that they've ever experienced in college football? That is saying something, man.
I mean, that's cool coming from Joel Klatt, like really cool. But for that to come from Matt Leinart, who was in the Trojan dynasty with Reggie Bush and all those
some of the greatest games of all time,
Texas USC, like
unbelievable,
all-time classic, probably one of the best games ever. And for him to say that the atmosphere in Ann Arbor on Saturday was better than that, I mean, that's just. I'm speechless. Like, that is insane. I can't even talk.
It really is incredible for him to say that. And maybe he's just saying it, but my God, it was a hell of an atmosphere. And I think everybody, I love that 15 million people did see that. Recruits saw it. Everybody saw it. You know what? To be honest with you, yes, Damani Jackson took Michigan out. Listen, if he wasn't coming to Michigan after what he saw on Saturday, then Michigan was out of that a long time ago, and Bama and USC probably dropped gigantic bags that, you know, whatever. So it's all right. We're going to be okay, you know, but I think in general, it was just for Michigan now, if they go out and play well on Saturday and win a Big Ten title, everybody's seeing what's going on at Michigan. And it's like, everyone can feel that tide turning. So they can really go with something here, keep the momentum going into 2022. You just never know what can happen with these big games. All of a sudden, one game can turn the whole program around.
Yeah. And especially that game, especially it's the end of the season.
Yeah.
There's so much riding on it. I mean, that's the, you know, last taste that's left in people's mouths, right? It's last game of the season typically before the bowl game, and there's so much riding on it. I mean, that's such a huge win for Harbaugh. Such a huge win for Harbaugh. Big. You know, so exciting for the recruits coming in, so exciting for the players on that team right now. And for the fan base, obviously we're feeling it, like we were just saying. I mean, it's huge. I'm ready to see this tide turn and Michigan just absolutely dominate their rivals.
It's incredible, just like the turn, right, from last season to this season.
Dude.
And just that to me, like, kind of blows me away. And the timing as well is like, it honestly couldn't be better timing, because now I think there's a little bit of a power vacuum in the Midwest with Brian Kelly no longer at Notre Dame.
Mm.
You could swoop in and maybe grab one of those guys who's trying to transfer. So
that's a good point.
There's some room to build the program as well. So.
How about just the last, like the 72 hours from Saturday to Monday was one of the most wild 72 hours in college football, with Lincoln Riley going to USC, Brian Kelly going to LSU, and Michigan beating Ohio State. It was a wild 72 hours for sure. But I wanted to talk about Harbaugh too, Jack. You mentioned how big of a win that is for him. Then all of a sudden he comes out on Monday in his press conference and says that with his bonus money, he's donating it back to Michigan employees that had to take pay cuts. All of a sudden, he's like this most likable guy, this character that went from most hated to most likable in like 24 hours.
Dude, it's insane. And I like what JJ McCarthy put up. He's like, he's not in it for the cheese. Like he doesn't care about the money. Like he wants to win. Like he loves Michigan. He grew up partially in Ann Arbor, played in Michigan, dad coach there, all that. I mean, he loves Michigan football, wants to see them do well. And I'm glad it's finally turning around for him, man. And I'll come out and say it, man. I was on the soup train last year. I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm happy for Harbaugh. And I'm hoping for a dynasty coming up soon. I mean, they throttled a number 2 ranked team in the country, and it was your biggest rival. Like, that's huge. I also have a theory about Brian Kelly going to LSU. I think he was dodging Michigan. I think he was like, maybe Notre Dame makes it to the playoff. They don't want to have to worry about playing Michigan. That's just a theory. A theory. He remembered 2019. He doesn't want that to happen again.
BK running from the Wolverines. He's like, I can't possibly play them. And how about BK just being like the whitest, most Midwestern type guy, and he's going straight to the bayou. Like, that dude is just gonna just get eaten alive down there.
I know. I'm with you. I don't see how he's gonna fit in at all. But hey, you never know.
Just needs a big hat and a bucket of sunscreen every day.
I mean, I'm just saying, going from Coach O, who eats gumbo for breakfast, to Brian Kelly, who probably thinks toothpaste is spicy. Like, you're I just don't know how this is gonna work out, man. I really don't.
You never know. He might eat some of that.
He gets the strawberry flavored toothpaste. The mint's too spicy. Oh my God. That's incredible.
Oh shit. Well, all right. Well, you know what? None of those teams have games this weekend, and guess who does? Michigan does have a game this weekend. So I do want to preview this Michigan versus Iowa game in the Big Ten Championship. We've got some great interviews coming up before or after we preview these. So we've got Roy Roundtree, former Michigan Wolverine, coming up, and our guy, Joel Honigford, the CEO of Pump It Up, coming on as well. So gear up. You can listen to us ramble for a little bit longer, and then listen to some great interviews with them after that. But how are you guys feeling about this game on Saturday? I said this to somebody the other day, like, is it possible to have the Big Ten championship game as a trap game?
I mean, I don't want to say it's a trap game because they know Iowa's defense is really good. I think that's the biggest thing that Michigan has to worry about, right? Like, their offense isn't great.
Is booty.
Their offense isn't great, and Michigan's defense is really good, so I feel good about it. But Iowa's defense is good, and defense wins championships, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I mean, I'm comfortable. I mean, I think the line is what, 11 for Michigan?
Yeah.
Michigan by 11. I think that's more than fair. I mean, just based off of Iowa's offense versus Michigan's defense. I mean, I feel good, man. I feel good about the game, but like you said, it's Big Ten championship game. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a championship game, right? And Iowa's gonna be ready to play and ready to ruin Michigan's chances to keep going. So I think, and the guys know that, so they'll show up ready to play, but that's why you play the game. So,
I mean, Iowa's potentially playing for a Rose Bowl bid too.
Yeah, no doubt. They're still in it. I mean, they've played really bad the last month. But you got to remember, they were number 2 in the nation at one point, looking like nobody could even move the ball for a single first down on that defense. So the defense hasn't changed much. They have had some guys move in and out because of injuries, I think, in the secondary. But I think that what's interesting to me is it's going to be strength on strength. Michigan's rushing offense versus their rush defense is going to be strength on strength. So I think Cade McNamara is going to have to move the ball. Josh Gaddis is definitely going to have a creative and an open game plan because you're not going to be able to just run it down their throat. They'll stuff you on that.
And they'll definitely watch the tape from that Ohio State game, right? And I mean, we were kind of doing some misdirection stuff on a few of those touchdowns, right? So I'm sure they'll watch that and they'll try to prepare for that.
For sure. For sure. The thing is that I mean, I see our defense just stifling them. Like they have a QB controversy in the Big Ten championship game. That's wild. And it's not because both the guys are so good that they can't figure out which one to put in. It's because they've both struggled all year. They tried to replace Petrus, and then Padilla was worse at times. So they put Petrus back in. And so I see Michigan getting to their offense really easily, kind of back. Do you remember that 2019 game? It was 10-3. Michigan's defense didn't let them do a damn thing. It was pretty incredible. I can see that happening. My prediction is that Michigan doesn't let up more than 7 points in this game, but I could be crazy.
Wow.
I could be crazy. I don't know. So I also at the same time am just like, I'm nervous at anything could happen, because I really think if Michigan doesn't win this game, this season is still like pretty disappointing. Don't you guys feel like that?
Wait, what? Repeat what you just said. If Michigan,
I said if Michigan does not win this game, this season still pretty disappointing, because obviously you beat Ohio State, you did something you haven't done in a decade, but don't you feel like when you're this close to a title for the first time in 15 plus years, you got to go get it?
who is this guy? Why do we let him on the podcast? What is
Slap
that?
yourself.
Slap yourself.
I'm sorry.
Positive vibes only. Of course, you're going to find the negative in this. What more do you want? 11 wins, beat Ohio State.
I want a title.
I'm with you, but you can't say it's a disappointing season.
I mean, I would be disappointed in the outcome that we didn't win. But as a season overall, I'm like, that was a great season.
It's I think the ending would be a disappointment. I'm not saying it would be like a failure of a season. I think it would just like end with a disappointment there, because especially the big thing is when you're a double digit favorite, it would kind of look like you blew it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying there.
They should definitely win this game.
Yeah. Yes. Why do you hate Michigan football? Look for the next article on Mason Brew.
Funny. Don't even.
Why I hate Michigan football by Justin Rowe.
Oh God. Just because you were like, we're gonna do it. This is the year, and I was like, dude, just don't jinx us. You said that 75 times on Saturday, and I'm just like about to punch you in the face. I'm like, if you jinx us here, I'm gonna kill you, bro.
I single-handedly manifested that W. I will take all the credit.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be in Indy. I will manifest it as well. All right. We'll be all good. We'll be all good. We'll be, once we get to Saturday, positive vibes only 1,000%. 1,000%. Pump it up going on in the bars, pump it up in the car on the way there. They better play Pump It Up and Michigan scores. That would be so lit.
That'd be electric.
Yeah. Oh man. So do you guys have a prediction for Saturday?
Let's do score prediction. Like I said, I like that line. I'm gonna say I'm kind of with you. I don't think Iowa's gonna score a lot, but I think they'll score more than 7. I'm gonna say Michigan 38. No, stop. Michigan 31. Michigan 31, Iowa 17.
A lot of points.
Yeah, I was going to say 31-10.
Okay.
I'm going to go 27-7. That's my prediction.
I like that.
People forget Michigan, they score a lot of points, man. It's weird to think about it because it's not like this electric offense that just like, chucks it downfield all day long, but they are one of the top scoring offenses they're second to Ohio State in scoring offenses, except I don't know if you guys saw this, but they did score more points than Ohio State did on Saturday. Were you guys aware of that?
Did they?
Yeah, that was crazy stat. Crazy stat.
Wow.
But they did do that.
They should have shut down that program, honestly.
I would. It's kind of embarrassing. How many days has it been since Ohio State beat Michigan? It's above 700.
Yeah.
Something like that. They're an embarrassment, to be honest with you.
Shut it down. Shut down the program.
All right. Well, that is what we've got for a little Iowa prediction. But we want to get to these interviews for you guys. Roy gives us a great insight into what it was like back in 2011 when they beat Ohio State, and now looking at it from his coaching perspective at Grand Valley. And then Joel, of course, electric as always, just pumping it up all day. The man he's an electric factory. It's incredible. So we're excited. Go buy your Pump It Up shirts, by the way. Half the proceeds go to Joel. We've sold a ton of them already. So I'm so pumped to see everybody with them on. But it's going to a great cause. Come on. It's NIL towards the players. They deserve it, right? They deserve it. So
they do. I kind of like what you said about the electric factory too. Are we rebranding the big house to the electric factory?
The electric factory. I like that.
If we can get Pump It Up
factory is
going,
down
like
the road. The factory is Eastern Michigan.
Ryan Earson Stadium. I wonder if they got any Truly sales tonight.
They might. But all right, let's get to these interviews and we will see you guys later. All right, now we welcome on former Michigan wide receiver, current Grand Valley coach, Roy Roundtree. Roy, thanks for joining us today. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So obviously coming on at a pretty dang good time in Michigan football right now with them headed to Indy. So tell us, we got to hear about what you were doing on Saturday. You guys were playing, correct, at Grand Valley, but were you able to catch any of the game against Ohio State?
Nah, man, because they played at 12 and we kicked off at 1. So I kind of got the first score in me. And then it was more, after the game, seeing, all the text messages from my friends back in Ohio saying that, that we won. So it was exciting, but it was bittersweet for me because, we didn't do as well Saturday.
Yeah, understand. Obviously, you're, GV through and through right now. But as a former Wolverine, it's got to feel pretty good, especially with you being on that last team that did beat Ohio State. So, so talking to your guys back from Ohio, so how, with that dynamic in it, has there always been a little extra in that game for you?
All the time, man. Just growing up, definitely in high school, being able to be good friends with DeRay Posey at the time, playing AU basketball and a lot of, summer tracks and, seeing him being a receiver there when I was at Michigan and, just to finally, he posted something that Saturday and, I told him, I said, hey, back at the big house, man, it's Go Blue all day on Instagram. He just laughed and, it all worked out, man. I'm happy for those guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, did you expect them to come out? I know obviously you always hope that Michigan's going to come out, win that game and play well. But, it has been a decade, right? And so, especially under Coach Harbaugh, they haven't been able to really be super competitive in that game in a few years now. Did you expect to see anything like what happened on Saturday?
Oh yeah, that's the expectations. Once you sign at Michigan, you know who you got at the end of the year every year. We know the expectations for that game, and every guy that wore those wing helmets before me and after me, they always gonna know that the game is, always after Thanksgiving in November. So the energy those guys play with, been playing like that since the beginning of the season. And it just shows, the grit that those guys are running with, and the chip on the shoulders, and proving a lot of people wrong. I know what happens at Schemberger Hall, man. It stays in there, and those guys been locked in. It's been fun watching them.
Yeah, and I know that they've talked about putting a bigger emphasis on the Ohio State game this year, right? They're doing like the Beat Ohio drill, and they have, what are you doing to beat Ohio State up in the locker room right now? What did you guys do back when you were a Wolverine to put emphasis on that game? Was it like just talked about more, or was there anything specific that you guys were doing?
Yeah, I mean, Brady Hoke came in there, it's different than, Rich Rod. With Brady Hoke came in there, no red, no green. That was like one of the first things in the meetings, and we don't say Ohio State, we say beat Ohio. That's just something like the disrespect that they say the team up north or something like
Yep.
that they go by. And so we had our own slogan, beat Ohio, and every day it was something extra rep, a period, whatever he was doing, you in Schembeckler Hall that day, it was going to be an extra something to get you in your mind to beat that team, down south. So it was great, man, that they just played this Saturday, and they're not done yet. So they know what the expectations are, and I know they ready for it.
Yeah, they're not done yet. Are you going to Indy for that Big Ten title game?
Oh man, I'll be recruiting eventually. I wish, but I'll be out recruiting. But normally when I watch the Michigan games, I'm by myself at home. I ain't got to worry about nobody talking or texting.
You should conveniently just go recruiting down in Indy. Have
Hey,
GVSU pay for the tickets, take them to a game.
Yeah.
Show them a good
see,
time.
but that's what everybody tell me. But I told them, I said, man, where's the national championship at? So if it's meant for me to see them, then hey, they'll take care of business, and I get a chance to see them in the Natty.
There you go.
That's true. Are you a little bit of a shit talker when you're watching games?
Oh nah, you could tell the staff like they never text me, like they know like when I'm watching the boys, I don't really got time to be asking questions or answering them because I feel like I'm in the game because like I said, I've known all those kids that's in the program now. I work with Coach Harbaugh, Coach Gat, Kasula, Moore, Jay Harbaugh, like all those guys are there. I've seen them come in and develop, and it's been, like I say, it's been a joy watching these guys actually have fun on Saturdays.
Did you get a chance to talk to any of those players and coaches after the game?
Oh, I did not. Well, I talked, text, Coach Moore and Coach Gad and Coach Kasula, the group that I'm, closer to, as far as when I was working there. But yeah, I shot them a text message saying, congrats, and on to the next one, man. So they know they got to, locked in right now for the task because you can't sleep over Iowa. We know what happened years ago with the field goal. I never forget it. It was like, man, but they plan them at a neutral spot, man. So I feel more confident that it ain't at the pink locker room stadium.
I mean, go ahead, Kalen.
Now, when you watch Michigan or when you get a chance to watch Michigan, do you ever see something that you're like, oh, that's pretty good, I'm going to use this at Grand Valley?
Oh man, it was a couple tricks, man, that I slid in some of our play calls to, help us, take advantage of the opportunity on some of the plays. So like I said, I've known the system, for a whole year and a half when I was at Michigan, and Coach Gat, one of my big mentors, him and, Kasula is guys that I talk to every day just to help me polish my game and what I can use, from watching those guys. But yeah, the Wisconsin flea flicker, we ended up scoring on that against Northern Michigan. So it was straight to
There
be
you
able
go.
to put it in and know the reads of the of the trick play. But yeah, it's some stuff that I do carry with myself now that I implement in our offense.
I love that. I've got a question for you too, just from watching like Gaddis's offense. Obviously, you were a part of it for what, a year, 2 years before you left for a year. And I mean, I feel like at least on social media and kind of in the media, it seems like people have kind of gotten on Gaddis and his play calling. Have you seen a difference in the play calling, or is it just the execution in the last few years where you feel like it's kind of improved?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, these guys when Gat was there, they all were like freshmen and sophomores. Now they like juniors, right?
Yeah.
And they got it. They didn't have the spring balls. They got the reps. They got the reps to perform well on Saturdays, and that's what you guys getting to witness it now. That execution, right? Being explosive, having explosive passes in the run game. That's been taken off too, man. Um seeing them two backs, man, just be leading the country, and every down, they either making a big run, or Haskins jumping over somebody, or Blake, he making an explosive play. And that's been that's kind of been the difference in the offense, that, you actually get a run game. And hey, shout out to the old line. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody sees it. I mean, it's just
Wow.
it's there. It's like Wall of China, man. So, and like I said, these guys were freshmen when got there. So now they actually getting a chance to develop and have fun for their brothers, and they don't take no BS, man. So that's what you love to see. The wing helmets, you love to see.
Oh yeah, and like you said, with Haskins and then Corum coming back next year, then you got Donovan Edwards. I mean, Michigan could go on a Georgia type run with this like RBU going on if they can keep it going after Edwards.
I mean, Donovan, that's another guy that you saw be explosive in the Maryland game, but he was doing that. I was hearing in spring ball when I got a chance to go visit. I heard the name, and Andrell, another guy that I'm completely, been happy to see him develop and make plays. And I mean, as a freshman, I mean, sheesh, it's been great, man.
Yeah, and I think it's something interesting you said there with them taking a couple years to really get into the playbook and know it, and now it's like really clicking. How long? I think fans are so they want it to work right now, right? No matter what, it's got to work for immediately. How long do you really think something like that takes to click for a coach to come in, get their playbook, get their players in, get people bought in, and then finally have it see success?
I think you just said the last thing is being bought in. That's the biggest thing that these kids, student athletes, get a chance to trust these coaches, understand the whole game plan, understand why we put you in this situation, that be able to elevate your game. And they doing it. Like you see the AJ, just moving him around, special talent guy, that if you get the ball to him in space, you see what happens, right? So he's doing a good job of just learning the whole system. And you can just see, man, it's no drop off. Like whoever's in the game, running back, tight ends, receivers, quarterbacks, they playing two. You don't know who can kill you, right? So it's just been hard for, I just feel like hard for a defensive coordinator, because you don't know what might be thrown your way. So it's kind of hard to really, dabble in and see what they're good at, what they're bad at. And you just see the execution that, not just offense, but special teams, block punts, punt returns,
Yeah.
defense, doing the
Yeah.
elite job. Like I mean, it's clicking on all cylinders. And it's great, man. It's the Harbaugh effect. Let's go.
Love it.
Let's go.
Love it. And speaking of defense too, how would you game plan for Aiden Hutchinson if you're trying to go up against that beast? Where do you even begin?
Uh, Trying. You can try, but you got a job on the other side. So the Jabo is either elite as well. So
Yep.
that's what I'm saying, man. It's just trouble. Trouble for offensive coordinator too. Definitely, if you gotta hold your tackles and trust in your tackles to block those ends, man. And all D line, man, they're nasty. They're nasty.
For sure. And so let's take you back to your playing days. You obviously had some fun moments at Michigan, that's for sure. I mean, I think you probably talked about this a lot, but I want to hear from you about the Notre Dame game with Denard, and that just unbelievable ending to it, because Michigan has now had a couple unbelievable endings this year too, and has a chance to have more. What is it like when you are in such a big moment in a game? Are you realizing that it's a big moment at that time, or when the big house is going absolutely ballistic like it was on Saturday, how are you trying to keep focused on, hey, I've got this play to do, I've got this assignment, instead of just I feel like I'd catch myself looking around thinking, holy shit, like what's going on here,
Yeah, I would say, like I said before, man, when I first started talking to you guys, the expectation, right? You signed at Michigan, you're playing in front of 110,000. You're gonna be on TV, right? If you drop any pass, everyone is gonna know that you dropped the pass, right? So you have to make sure that you get yourself mentally ready for that in practice, which is on State Street, right? We practice at Schembeckler Hall on State Street. So then when we get to Main Street, the big house is the main street, right? So it's time to, get going, and you never know when your number will be called. In the Notre Dame game, prime example, I have one catch for, 16 yards to win the game, right? One catch. I didn't get us down there. I threw a couple blocks, but Denard and all those other guys, they had a field day with, with Notre Dame. And when my number was called, I told, Denard at the moment, hey, throw it up. I'm come down with it. And I felt 110% confident in that. Even though when I jumped in the ball, the visor glare, it kind of
Oh,
messed up in the life. So it was kind of like, okay, I got it now. Hold on to it, right? So it was man, it was great. I mean, like I say, Michigan gets you prepared for those moments for big time games. And that will kind of get the momentum going right there. I mean, you already juiced up Saturday on Main Street in the big house rival game. What much do you need to get you going?
Right, exactly. And that's what it felt like. It felt like there was something missing for the past few years from this Michigan Ohio State game. Like they needed something else almost. They didn't look like that mentally tough team in that Ohio State game. But then on Saturday, it was like they looked like the mentally tough team, and the energetic team in Ohio State was back on their heels, right? So, for you as a player back when you were playing Ohio State, what was it like in that locker room, getting ready for that game, even the week prior, for you guys to get energetic and really just get into that moment of this is Michigan, Ohio State. This is the game. This does mean just about everything for this season.
Oh man, it means a lot, and being able to be 1-0, like they got 1-0 this weekend. I think that's the biggest thing, far as the different momentum change. It ain't the same, I woke up differently Sunday because I knew my boys, took care of business, right? I didn't go back home to Ohio knowing confident that you can't tell me nothing because y'all lost, right? So now you have that edge that you can carry on with yourself for these next 300 and such days, but also knowing that it's time to, lock in for the next opponent. And thank God they got another opportunity to, display that Saturday. And like I said, it don't take much to get you going playing the Big Ten championship. It don't. And I know those guys are juiced up, ready to take flight. And I know 8 o'clock. I'm excited like I'm playing, so I'm excited to see them.
Are you going to be able to watch that game on Saturday?
Oh yeah, I'll be home. I'll be home 8 o'clock. Yep, by myself watching the game.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, turn the phone off, lock the door. Right.
Hey, exactly. Because all my Ohio friends, they don't text me no more. It's like it's silent as all get out.
It's funny.
At least I'm a good sport. I text you how you doing, how your day. They don't even say nothing no more. I see how it is.
It's funny how they were all very present in our lives for the last few years, and now they just disappear. I'm ready to put out a search warrant for some of my Ohio friends.
Oh yeah, they already searched. I'm search warranting everybody because they ain't saying nothing. I make sure they're alive.
Roy, I do have a question for you about recruiting. I mean, obviously you said you're on the recruiting trail. You're a big part of that at Grand Valley State. What do you think that victory that Michigan had over Ohio State, how do you think that's going to affect recruiting? I mean, we've talked about it for the past 10 years, right? I mean, even going back to 2016, we're like, man, like what kind of difference would that have made for the entire program, for Michigan football, recruiting, everything? If JT would have been called short and Michigan would have won that game and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
What kind of effects do you think that'll have going forward? Do you think Michigan's like, it's kind of the turn of the tide, like Michigan's going to take over the rivalry and, get all those big recruits that would normally go to Ohio State?
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing of Big Ten football. Like they all recruiting the same guys, right? And I think you get more edge of, like you say, like the game of having the recruits there, seeing the atmosphere, getting around the coaches, getting around the players. So yes, I think they do got an edge on that this year because of that. But also like Michigan always does a good job recruiting, just the program alone. But just being able to see that and those guys to witness that type of game and that type of a kicking, in person. It's kind of like it's more, it's more personal to them because they were there and not just watching it on TV. So I think it's gonna go up. We got the top class right now, the top DBs in the class, and hopefully these guys still want to keep on and come in to build their own legacy.
Yeah,
For
with
sure.
the recruits being on there too. Do you see Leinart came out and said that was the best college atmosphere he's ever seen?
I'm telling
That
you, it
like
looked it
that's
looked
crazy.
it looked live. Just watching the highlights, seeing the snow. I know I played in the snowstorm Saturday, so I know it wasn't as bad. I'm more north, but it wasn't that bad in Ann Arbor. But it was really nice to see them. Everyone storm the field because I was like I said, I got that same picture in my well, not my basement, in my garage, and it's probably brown now. Told my mom she got to like the foil, make sure everything is still straight. But yeah, it's a great feeling, man.
Yeah, and speaking of recruiting too, do you feel like there is something to not getting all of the highest rated guys, but getting the right guys for you, for a program? I think there are a lot of people out there that just want 5 stars, right? They want the highest possible rated kid. But I think that it seems like in the last year and a half, 2 years, Jim Harbaugh has went a little more of like, all right, it doesn't have to be the most highly rated guy. We want a guy that's going to come in, be bought in, like we talked about earlier, and be the right fit for Michigan. This year, you can tell more than ever, these guys are the right fit for Michigan. Do you think that it's an advantage to go that route sometimes rather than just the highest rated guy on the board?
I think as far as recruiting, it go either way. You got your 5 stars, who's great. You got your 3 stars, that's great. The no stars, that's the gems, the hidden gems, right? Ronnie Bell, prime example, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And the grit of that. I think those stars only come to guys that be able to go to camps or the guys that get invited to camp. So the selection is so slim that a Michigan commit might not get the same opportunity as a Bama commit, right?
Right.
Or Ohio State commit. So they kind of rank those stars. I never get into it. I think if you find a dude on video, you think he fits, there you go. Because I was in the same role. I wasn't no three. I wasn't a 5 star going to Michigan. I was a 3 star, right? I didn't even know about the stars back then with the scouts and all that. But being able to go there and like I say, leave your legacy, that's all that really matters. It don't care if you go in there 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars or 5. You going to Michigan to get a degree and being able to leave your legacy from that time, and you had your mindset like that. I think you'll stay hungry throughout the process.
Yeah, I think it just seems like the guys here that they're it just seems like you said it can go either way. Obviously you want talented guys, but I think there have been talented guys in the Michigan program that maybe didn't fit perfectly, and now it seems like they've kind of got a combo of both, which has done well for them. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about too, obviously we watched Hassan Haskins have the day of his life on Saturday, 5 touchdowns. Was there ever a game that you had back when you were playing that you were just like, man, they cannot stop me?
Yeah, the day when I broke the record against Illinois, I think that
Yep.
was the day I was like, "Oh wow, first play of the game, touchdown." Okay, I don't think they gonna have a day against me. So I think that was one of the games where I was so locked in, and they kept feeding me the ball, and I was just steady making explosive plays. And next thing you know, after the game, they told me I broke the record, and I was like, "Oh, I did. I didn't even know." So it was one of those games. Yeah, it was fun.
Now,
Man,
And that
did
go
that
ahead, Jay.
surprise you, or was that like, or were you like, yeah, that this was going to happen?
I think our chapel before the game, he prayed and said, "Tree, you about to have a good game." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm confident. I know I am." But I did not know that I was gonna break a record, man. A record that was in Michigan record books for over 70 some years. And I ended up breaking that, man. And that just, it made me proud that I did come to Michigan and do something with my life. I wasn't just a guy that was just sitting on the bench and just, eating popcorn. That wasn't it. That wasn't me. I was trying to make plays. And like I said, I carried to myself as a coach. I want to leave my legacy. I want to make sure that, the opportunity I get to present, I want to make sure I show and display it. So,
Now, I think some people are concerned about this week a little bit for Michigan versus Iowa when the emotions of what happened on Saturday, how do you get yourself up one more time right after that? Because I'll be honest, I was in the stands and I was mentally and physically exhausted after that game. So I can't imagine how these players and coaches feel, right? So, what do you think that they're going to do? I know that the team has already talked about, I don't know if it's coach and player speak, but they're saying, yep, we flipped the page to Iowa, all that stuff. What are the things that a team or, players can do to say, all right, that was Saturday. Here's what we've got going on this week. We still got to go out there and win this next one.
I mean, just the coaching staff and Coach Harbaugh, like he knows the next game is the best game. So, definitely after, the Michigan State game, well, everybody probably would have thought like, oh man, go downward after this. And look what they did. Like they went on a streak and they still on the streak. And that's one thing about the guys that's in that building now. You don't have to worry. I definitely don't worry. Clearly what they displayed Saturday showed that they know who's up next and they know at the Big Ten championship to be able to, punch that ticket in and get to the playoff, they got to win the Big Ten championship. So I know it's most important to those guys because they work all year long to be in this situation. And I don't think they're gonna, just get there and be like, oh man, it's just an Iowa team. No, it's a really good Iowa team that, made it to the Big Ten championship just like Michigan. So I think those guys flipped the page. Sunday was a new day. I'm sure they was prepping. And then, today, Wednesday, they already, deep in the game plan, getting ready for Saturday. So yeah, I think those guys are locked in, man. I mean locked in.
And you talked about Coach Harbaugh there too. Obviously you've coached under him now and as a part of his staff. He is getting a lot of praise now as that he's changed, right? That he's done all these things to change it. But then we talk to some of these players and they're like, no, coach is coach. He's been the same. He's been the same guy. So I think half of it is just like, he's a little bit odd, right? So he doesn't let things out. He's not just like this outgoing person. He keeps things close to the chest a lot. So now all of a sudden you get a little glimpse of it and people are praising him. So give us a little glimpse of what you've experienced from Coach Harbaugh.
Oh, I mean, one thing that pop out to me is energy. You never really see Coach Harbaugh have a bad day. He always going to make sure his energy is uplifted. And that's why he's the great leader for our program. He's always bringing that. He's always challenging the guys. He's always challenging his coaches. I think that was the biggest thing that I learned coaching underneath him is that he is going to challenge your coaches, make sure that you are, on top of your things. And I guess that's kind of like his philosophy as far as when he was in the NFL. And, he's making sure everybody's on the same page when they take the field. And, it just shows that, the energy and winning, that's the, a big thing of happiness is that, they're showing and those guys are fighting their tails off to make sure that Coach Harbaugh is, is not getting laughed at, but actually getting praised like you guys are saying, because it's been there, and now the guys are actually, fully, locked in on the situations and the details that is going to get them to, win the Big Ten championship.
Now, do you have any stories of Coach being a little bit of that zany guy that we've seen before too?
Man, I'm not sure. I've been to Paris with him, been to South Africa with him. I never really, show frustration aside of getting at the refs. I mean, that's about it. Getting at the referee.
Does he actually use Excel all the time for everything?
Man, Coach Harbaugh, man, he got the old school laptop now. He got the old school laptop. All right, he'll walk around with it, bring it out. He got the old school. So, but he's transitioning over to his old laptop to actually. But yeah, he'd be on Excel for sure.
I could see Harbaugh having like one of those first
Mac
desktops with like the
yeah, he had
blue
the
or
old
colored
laptop
background.
with the. I'm like, dang, coach, how long you? Since the Niner days, the Oakland days. I'm like, long time.
Oh my god.
What's the music video back in the day where like the guy's texting his girl on Excel on the phone? I can't remember what that
shit.
music
Nextel
was.
Chirp. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Is it Soldier Boy?
I think
wanna
it
say it
is.
was Soulja
Yes.
Boy or
Kiss me
Jimmy
through
or
the phone,
something.
I think. Yeah.
Kiss me through the
Okay.
phone. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
That's how I imagine Coach Harbaugh texting. He just like has to put it in an Excel doc first, then copy paste or something. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, do you guys have any other questions for Roy while we have him here?
Oh man. Well, I guess I got a tough one for you.
Okay.
Let's take you back to that 2011 game. You know, the first night game, that game-winning touchdown against Notre Dame. Would you trade that for a Michigan Big Ten championship this weekend?
Would I trade that for a Big Ten? No.
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 What about
I mean,
Natty?
that's the
What about
iconic
Natty?
It's the first
What-
night game ever, man. I can't. I get it. I love to play in the Big Ten championship. I got a chance to play in the BCS game, so I was Sugar Bowl. So I mean, that's kind of like the. I know it didn't win the Big Ten, but you know, it's up there. It's up there.
It is. Memorable moment, man. You're locked in as a legend forever.
It was, man. It was.
That Sugar Bowl win was awesome.
Oh, awesome.
What was it like from your perspective as a player?
Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it was like I said, I was the team that went to the Gator Bowl. It was the team that went to the Outback Bowl. And when we figured out the gifts that we were getting for this Sugar Bowl,
Oh my god!
and the where we was playing at, like it was like bananas, man. Like we got a chance to be in warm weather. We got a chance to tour, eat good food, and then get to play at the Superdome. Like it was just outstanding, man. So my experience time there was it was once in a lifetime that I'll never forget. And that's what you itch for these players to get that feeling, because that feeling kind of rub off to you the next year, because you play in the January 1st bowl game, and you get to carry on that same momentum in the off season that it gets you ready for the season. So it was great, man.
I guess I do have one more question for you. So when I think it was like 2010, 2011, maybe 2012, when you guys were with Adidas for the uniforms. Adidas played around a lot with those uniforms. And I feel like you guys had a lot of different like color combos and different jerseys that they, kind of tried to recreate. How do you like the jerseys that Jordan has done this year? Like the uniforms all blue, the maize on top of the blue. Those are sick.
I remember when they changed the end zone blue. Right then, I was like, okay, now we starting to, transform into the recruiting to help, with a lot of good things. And, it's Jordan. What else
best
you
brand there
want
is.
me to say? There's best jerseys ever, man. And, I love the combinations that they're rocking. One thing they ain't never going to change is the wing helmets. So as long as the wing helmets stay the same, man, you can wear whatever color jersey you want to wear. Because, hey, I know who's playing. I know Michigan with them helmets. So that's the key plus, man. It's been a joy watching the different combinations, though, because, Michigan got some fire, man. You can't sleep on the boys in blue.
And I think too, now that Michigan has won some of these big games in these different jersey combos, maybe some of these fans will be like, all right, we can do it. I feel like there were times back in the day where like we'd come out with a different jersey combo and not play well. And then people are like, no, you got to go back to the original. Like, no, we're in the year 2021. You can change it up a little bit, right?
There you go. And that's, that's the whole thing. We're not Oregon or anything like that, but it's okay to, and I'm sure it changed the energy, the swag, they call it, the swag that these guys, get out there, and you get some swag, man. You play lights out. Yep. Sometimes that might be the best thing to do, is get some different swag and play lights out. So
I did see something funny this year. I mean, obviously you see players with towels and whatnot in their pants when they're playing. I've seen DJ Turner a couple times. He goes 2 towels. He'll have 2 towels on. What do you got on that?
Hey man, I've been watching DJ since he was at Michigan. He was on scout team with me, man. And just to see this kid just perform the way he's been performing, it's been lights out, man. And like I said, he got that Georgia drip. That's all it is.
He
He got
does,
Georgia
yeah.
drip, man. That's it.
How
Oh,
about
man.
since you've obviously coached some of these guys, who are some guys that maybe haven't shown out quite yet or haven't broken out all the way yet that you think still, in whether it's the end of the year here or into next year, that could be the next guys up?
Oh man, a guy that I think is really gonna, excel. I know Antrell had his. I know CJ had his. Is Roman. I think Roman and AJ is gonna be the guys that really like, because now they getting that experience. They older. They got a good feel of the game, and they feel them more. As you see, they feel them more. And I think the Romans who's electric and AJ who's electric, really gonna seem like this, man. And Scoons, man, the
Scooney.
tight end. I
Scooney.
can't sleep on Scooney, my guy. That guy freshman year, man. He was just every day in practice. You just see him doing this, and now actually seeing him doing the things he's doing on Saturdays has just been a joy to my heart, man. And definitely, like I said, David Jabo, man. Like the kid didn't know how to play football.
That's wild.
Crazy.
Didn't know how to play football, and look at him now. It's crazy,
There
man.
you go.
You develop and you be patient.
We are about to have Joel Honigford on too.
Tight end, Chance, my guy.
I know. What did you ever think that Joel Honigford would be catching passes here in the year 2021?
Oh, I know Joel's a big lineman who got better every day, and to see him change positions and do what he's been doing, I mean, it's elite, man. And that's a guy that bought in. You see the difference? Like most guys leave. It's a guy that bought into the program, and they're using him wisely.
I mean, it's funny, man. I've seen some early on pictures when he got to Michigan, and now he was like just totally transformed. It looks like Fabio. He's got the long hair. He's all cut up,
slick
like,
back. He just that's Joel for you, man. It's Joel.
Man, I gotta get on some HGH or something and get some Rogaine, and maybe I'll look like that one day. We'll see.
Yeah, you're real close, Jack. Real close. You're right.
I'm with you, man. That's why I got a hat on. You feel? I got a shade tonight.
So going into Iowa here, into the Big Ten championship game. So leading up to it, you kind of talked about it with the Sugar Bowl, with everything that goes on. You get to tour, you go around to eat, you do all the press conferences. How do you stay focused on the actual game when there is so much outside of the actual game that's going on this week?
I think that goes to the captains, right? Keep the team locked in on the task at hand. You really don't see distractions, with Coach Harbaugh, because he makes sure everything is structured. And these guys gonna be on the schedule. I'm sure they're gonna be on the schedule and be ready, locked and loaded come, Saturday at 8:00, man, to perform the way they capable of performing. So I think the distractions is gonna be far for those guys, because they don't even look at that. And definitely the coaching staff preparing them, getting them right for the day. So that'd be good.
There you go. Saturday, 8:00. We will watch Michigan take on Iowa. Hey, it's going to be a fun one. I'll be there in Indy, so I'm excited to be in that atmosphere. And for everyone watching at home, including you guys, it's going to be a fun one too. But Roy Roundtree, thank you very much for coming on with us. We appreciate it. Great insight. We can say Laker for a lifetime, right? And go blue at the same time.
Hey, you see it, man. Go blue all day, man. And appreciate you all having me on. And I love you, Jack. I see you beat Iowa. You're right. Let's go.
You can read it. I was just telling these guys, I'm like, man, I
gotta
get a thicker expo or something.
I can see it, man. Yeah. I see it. Appreciate you all.
Beat Iowa. There we go. All right. Thanks, man. We appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. You have a good one. You all go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue.
All right. Thanks to Roy Roundtree for coming on with us. That was it was good insight coming from him as a player, at Michigan, obviously, but then his insight from being a coach at Grand Valley and utilizing that, but also he coached a lot of these guys, as a grad assistant and assistant coach at Michigan a few years ago too. So that was cool to hear that from him too.
Yeah, great insight. Always good to talk to a Michigan legend too. I mean, that's insane. I didn't realize that was his only catch.
I did not either.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
That was surprising. I mean, I just enjoyed hearing about his experience, right, at Michigan, under the lights, his crazy game with Illinois. I mean, fun guy to talk to.
Cool ass dude. We'll have to have him on again.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, thank you again to Roy. And now we've got coming up here the GOAT, the CEO, the founder of Pump It Up. Go buy your Pump It Up shirts at blueby90shop.com. Get him some money. He needs to cash out. He deserves it after what he's done for this university, bringing Pump It Up to the people. But he's going to tell you, Joel Honigford, tight end for Michigan, he'll tell you exactly what the story is of Pump It Up, how it came to Michigan, how we as a podcast kind of brought it to Michigan, helped start, we'll pat ourselves on the back a little bit here. Joel started it. We kind of helped blow it up, and here we are. They played it like crazy on Saturday, but Joel's the man here, so we're excited to bring him on, and here we go.
Pump it up, don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know.
All right, let's welcome Joel Honigford, the CEO of Pump It Up, onto the podcast right now. Joel, what was it like to hear that one like 100 times on Saturday?
Honestly, like, hard to put in words because normally we were just playing it after the first touchdown. And then this game, they're like, you know what? We're playing it after every single touchdown. And I was so fired up. Once they played on the second touchdown we scored, I was like, all right, let's ride. Like, oh, it was so sick.
The best part too is that it got louder and people got more hyped to it with every touchdown. Like, I was thinking maybe somebody would get sick of it, but then we just like kept scoring. It kept getting louder and louder. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, it was unreal. It was so sick. The sideline was jumping. Oh, it was a good time.
Dude, we got a video of that somebody sent us where it was like after the game, after everybody stormed the field and they're playing Pump It Up, and you can just see a sea of people just going like up and down on the field, listening to Pump It Up. I'm like, that's incredible.
Oh, yeah,
it's the song.
Yeah, I don't know how that thing took off like that. That is nuts.
All you.
I feel like like we released the shirt, right? And so it's got me on it, and people are like, oh, like, that's sick that you like jumped on that and like took advantage of that. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm the founder here. Like, I'm the one who brought this here. What are we talking about? You think I'm just like jumping on the bandwagon here? Yeah. So, okay. So the full story is this summer, workout at 6:30 in the morning. So it's not always easy to get up and work out, so we just had a small group of guys. It was like 5 or 6 guys because we were just guys who had internships. And I had heard that song. I don't even know where I heard it. But the first time I heard it, I was like, yeah, this song's sick. Like, let's go. And so what I would do is I would go in the weight room in the morning and like they would just kind of let me DJ it because it was just a small group of dudes. And I would throw that song on first thing in the morning. So like then we started like vibing with it, and then we always play music at practice, like in our warm-ups, and they started playing it in that. And so then the whole team started vibing, like kind of turning up. And then I was like, hey, we have to play this on game day. Like, I don't know when we're going to play it, but we have to. And I don't know if Western, we played it after the first touchdown or when we played it. But yeah. So then we started playing at the games, and now it's kind of taking the university by storm. But for all the people who don't understand, that is how it happened. So
there you go. The CEO right here is what we like to call Joel. So CEO of Pump It Up. The moment, so Jack and I were in the game, and every single time it started playing, we kept looking at each other and we're like, dude, this started with us on the podcast with Joel. Like this really started like, and then it really blew up like after that. And we were like, I was just like, I can't believe this is going so nuts right now. It was incredible.
Yeah, because after Western, I think that's when I hopped on here maybe for the first time.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And that's when we talked about, you're like, is Pump It Up the
The
song?
touchdown song.
Yeah. And they're like, it's got to be. And Ohio State, and they play it, what, 6 times, something like that?
6 times. Well, you guys just kept scoring. So, I mean, you know,
we really like the song. So
you kind of like it. You kind of like it. Oh man. All right. So, I mean, let's take it back to Saturday. Obviously, Pump It Up was amazing, but you know, going into that game, what were you guys feeling like, you know, because you came out like you were the biggest, baddest, toughest, meanest dudes ever. Like there was no chance that you were going to get beat that day. And let's be honest, in games past against Ohio State, you really haven't looked that way, you know, and we've talked about the energy that you guys have had all year long. Obviously, it's been a shift of that. We've touched on it a couple times, I think. But I mean, obviously this one is the biggest one, right? So what was it like in practice leading up to it and then in the locker room, and what were you guys doing to get yourself to that point?
I mean, like, speaking for myself, and I know it was this way with the rest of the team because like I had talked to the guys obviously during the week, but there was not anybody who had literally any doubt that we were gonna, like, we knew we were gonna win that game. It wasn't like a, you know, we can really win this one. It was like, no, like we're going to win this game. And then we were like, yeah, like when we win, people are gonna storm the field. It sounds like that's like easy to say, but that's really how everybody felt. Like everyone just knew we were going to win, and like there was like literally no other option. Like we had to. And I mean, like during practice, like I think a huge reason why we played so well is because, yeah, it's Ohio State week. It's not just like every other week. Like it's obviously not. But at the same point in time, you can't make it this whole new different week where you change everything and like lose your routine, which we absolutely did not. And like we were like loose during the week too. Nobody was like uptight and like freaking out about it. Like we were just like enjoying playing football and like just felt good about what we had going on, and we're ready to just take it out on Ohio State. So
I heard there was a clip that was from like Coach Harbaugh in the pregame, and I think one of the things he said was go out and have the most fun you've ever had in your life. I feel like that hasn't been something that you guys have talked about in past years. It wasn't like about fun. It was like, go get the job done. But now, like, it's very obvious you guys are enjoying football and having fun. Coach Harbaugh is having like the best time of his life himself too, right?
Yeah. I mean, like easily, like this year, I like loved playing football. It doesn't matter if it's like Tuesday practice where like you just start in the middle of the week, you got all your pads on or whatever. Like I've like loved every moment of it. Like just like truly have, like it's been unreal. Like I love the dudes I play with. Like, I mean, we're all like super close to each other, and like, no, it's been so different this year, just how everyone's carried themselves. And like, there hasn't been anybody who's like fallen off the ship. Everyone knows what we have to do. And like, we've just executed. Like nobody's trying to do anything special or anything like that. Everybody's doing their job, and like now here we are about to play in the Big Ten championship. So
that's awesome. So awesome. Do you feel like the tide is like turning like this? Like it's going to be like now, you know, you guys are going to go on a run, you know, Big Ten championships, you know, multiple years in a row.
I mean, if we can keep like this culture that we have right now, I mean, we have so many guys in the facility who are like experiencing this now, and like with the young guys who are playing in the games and stuff like that, like they understand like what it takes to get where we are now. So like for them to be able to carry that into like years coming up, like if they can keep that going, like there's no doubt. Like dudes love to play football. Like they just genuinely love to play football and like play for Coach Harbaugh and like all of our position coaches. We love to go play ball. Like it's what we do.
Yeah, and I mean Saturday, we've talked about it on Sunday. We recorded our post-game podcast, and first of all, I was like mentally, physically exhausted afterwards because I was still so hype after the morning after. I was still just so hype. But I'm hesitant to say that it was the best day of my life because I got engaged this past December, so I think I'm supposed to say that I it was a great day for me. I'll say that, but I wanted to hear from you. You know, you've had some great moments as a football player, some great moments as a guy, you know, as a human being too. Where does Saturday rank for you?
No question, that's the best day of my life. There's no doubt, not at all. I had so many people from back home that would just text me and be like, hey, you know, good luck to you, but go Bucks. And I'm like, dude, why are you texting me this? Like why do you think that like this is something, you know what? You know, I should send this to him. I should say go Bucks to him. Like why? And I was just to go out there and the best part about it is it wasn't like there wasn't anything controversial that happened.
Yep.
The game go the way it was. We just manhandled them. Like it's just the facts of what happened. Like there's no denying that happened. And like to be a part of that, holy, I mean, I was crying after the game. Like I didn't care. It was like thousands of people around me and I got tears running down my face, like my eyes are all red.
I love it. Oh man, it was a special day in Ann Arbor. I mean the emotion, the atmosphere, it was like something that I've been to a lot of football games at the Big House, right, over the past 10-15 years. Never ever felt anything like that. So it was truly something special. And when you're talking about how you did it against Ohio State by manhandling them, how about your boys on the offensive line? Those dudes, oh my God, what a game.
Yeah, I mean, I love those dudes. They're like just some big nasty dudes, like just love what they do, love to ground and pound. Like they love it. My favorite clip from the game was that when that little like scuffle happened with Roman on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And then Keegan and Stuber roll up on that dude. I was like,
and they're like a foot and a half taller than him too.
It's so sick. It's so cool. Dude, I love those guys so much. Like to play next to them, like phenomenal. Like gotta love those dudes. They're such good guys too, and yeah, and they're super selfless. I mean, they want to win games, which is awesome. So
the Hogs, man, gotta love the Hogs.
I still got my ties, so
yeah,
That's
you're still a hog at heart. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Never forget your roots.
Yeah,
Right, exactly. I was telling we talked to Roy Roundtree today too, and we were telling that we were going to record with you, and he was like, man, I remember when Joel was just a little freshman coming in, and he's a big old lineman. I was like, dude, you should see him. I mean, look at him now. He looks like Fabio. He's got the long hair. He's like all chiseled.
Completely different person.
Right.
I just entirely changed it up. Like I had to, right? I mean, like they put me at tight end. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Right? I gotta let the hair grow out. Like,
Gotta get the lettuce.
Yeah. Get a little romaine out the back of the helmet. Like, what do we do?
It's beautiful.
Like, it wasn't something that I was like, oh, maybe I should. It was like a contract. It's like, yeah, all right, sure, like let's do it.
You're
man.
even wearing the the white strips on the back of the arms too. Like you've got it all going on. You've got some drip now, and you've got the chain even on right now as well. Like, man, you really are something else.
He's got the one leg sleeve on too. It's incredible.
Listen,
He's got it going.
I had to step it up. Like I dropped the knee braces, on the single leg sleeve. Let's go. But the tape on the back of the arms, although it does look super sick, it actually is for like, it's so I don't rip my arms up.
Yeah.
Because like the first half of the season, I would just rip my arms up on the turf and like then reopen it in practice. And like I didn't want to like, I was like, I don't know, not really worthy of the turf tape, maybe. I don't know, not worthy of the visor. I already know that much, but
how sick would that be? You just got the black visor on there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but yeah, so I threw the turf tape on, got some good reviews from the people. I was like, all right, let's go. Save my arms too. Real nice.
Love it,
man. Beautiful. Great look.
Great all around.
There's definitely some awesome energy on Saturday. And one part that I remember specifically was when Ohio State was going in the locker room and then Michigan was kind of not far behind them, they were chirping them pretty good. And it looked like Ohio State was kind of caught off guard. They were like, what is this? What are these guys like all hyped up? Did you see that? Were you partaking in some of that as well?
I was like halfway up, so I like got up there and it had already started, but Vistardis was the one really who started it all.
No shit.
So he was at the front headed up the tunnel and he was like, man, it's just like so quiet in here. And so he just started yelling.
I love it.
And then when he started yelling, everybody else just started yelling and it got ridiculously loud in the tunnel. And then Ohio State's players, for whatever reason, thought they were like, oh yeah, it's a cool idea. Let's just go ahead and turn around. Like we're losing, but yeah, let's turn around. This would be cool. Like what? They decided to turn around, and then, I mean, we were already hot. Like we were hot in the game, and so obviously, like dudes were getting into it. I don't really know what was going on up front because I was just kind of in the back trying to get a little piece of the action, but I didn't. So I was just kind of far. But no, yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's a point I knew we were going to win the game, but definitely helped me think that, because I was like, this is what Ohio State has to resort to right now, because like they can't do anything between the whistles. Like,
right.
So all right, you want to be tough, like you're going to be tough in the tunnel on the way up to halftime. Like, okay, that's fine.
It's so funny too that like Vistardis is the one that's starting that, because we've had Andrew on our podcast, so we know him and his girlfriend and stuff, and it's like he's like in person the most somber, just like chill dude, but then I feel like he puts a helmet on, he becomes a different human being.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he turns into this like violent man. There was one play we saw on film. I think it was on the first touchdown, AJ's touchdown. The Stardust was like running out on the edge, and he was like toe to toe with their nickel.
What?
Stride for stride. We're like, are we? Is everybody seeing this right now? Like, look at this man. No, Stardust, absolute beast. Yeah, when I would say from my understanding of Vistardis, and I've been with him for 5 years now, when he started yelling in the tunnel, I would imagine that he probably wasn't yelling anything at all, but rather just making really loud noises. Like, I'm sure it wasn't like, oh, you guys suck. No, I'm sure he was actually just yelling. Like,
that's even better. That's way better than him like actually chirping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely Vistardis. Yeah. That's
what is that? Anchorman? Loud noises.
Loud noises.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's incredible.
He quotes movies a lot, and we've been quoting the scene from Talladega Nights when they put the cougar in the car. There's a cougar in the car. So funny. Basardi's got all the one-liners from movies. He's the man.
Love
I could see him being that guy.
100%.
grandpa, like dad jokes for sure.
Yeah, stepping right into the role.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So then going into the second half, I mean, you guys, I think it was so big that the defense went out, stopped them right away, and then you guys went down and scored right away as well. And so it just felt like, honestly, it felt like I was expecting, all right, when's the point that like you guys on the offensive side slow down a little bit? The defense, we know how good their offense is, right? So like we always thought like, all right, they're going to get theirs, right? A couple times, right? And I feel like everyone was like, all right, when are they going to make that push? And then you guys just kept the pedal to the metal. And so was that like the mantra in that offensive huddle? Like, hey, we're not letting up right now. Let's just keep rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that has kind of gotten us in sticky situations this year is maybe a bit of complacency at halftime. Look at like Rutgers.
Yeah,
we're up big at halftime, and we're like, oh, okay, like nice, like we're winning big here. And I mean, we were up by 1 going into halftime against Ohio State, but like we obviously knew that on the field, like we were dominating. And like it was pretty clear. And so we knew going in the second half that like that has to stay. Like that energy, the energy we had on the first drive was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've like never felt that before. Like dudes wanted to go out there and just smack people.
that's incredible.
It was so sweet. Like Mikey Sanders still, he had like 2 or 3 pancakes. Crazy.
That's awesome.
I was watching, I think John Jansen was doing some stuff like game film, and like there were wide receivers with like I think Roman Wilson had a couple pancakes too. It was like unbelievable how guys were finishing blocks and playing through the whistle.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone just like realistically, everyone just played really mad. Like everyone like knew what we had to do. And we just got really, really mad. And I was like, all right, let's go. Like, I mean, obviously we're very controlled with that like anger, because if you're not, then it can lead to a lot of bad things. But I just think that we knew what we had to do, and we were all in the right mindset for that to happen. But yeah, just like in the second half, like we knew if we keep scoring every single drive, like there's no way for them to win. Like they literally cannot win if we score every single drive, every single time we get the ball, regardless of whether they score or not. Which I mean, with our defense, like have fun. Like
Yeah. Did you know, by the way, that in the second half you guys didn't have a third down? I don't believe.
really?
You never got. It was only first and second downs. I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that. I knew that in the game in total, the offense never had a negative play.
Yeah.
Which was pretty sweet.
And Cade did not have an incompletion after like 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy.
Cade's the man.
Cade is the man. Yep. That's I mean, it just felt like you guys never let up, which is I think was the key. It's been the key to winning that game, because like you guys have had leads in that game before in the past, right? But then, it just doesn't end up going your way in the end of it. But you guys just kept at it, and it felt like there was just no chance you were letting that up. So that felt like I felt that in the stands for sure. But you get to the end of the game. That last drive was incredible. The crowd's going nuts when Hassan scores his 5th freaking touchdown like an animal. And then walk us through what happens as the final plays happen and the whistle blows.
So I was out there for the kneel, which was cool because that was my last home game with Andrew Stuber, who's been like my roommate.
Yep.
Since I literally first showed up here, and like I
Man.
still live with him right now. So yeah, last home game with him and
That's cool.
Jeff Spate. So I got to finish on the field with him, which was super cool and super meaningful for me. After the game's immediately over, I gave Andrew a hug, and like we were just both real excited. And I start running to the sideline, and I see Caden Colasar, who's also from Ohio, and he's like running up to me. I'm running up to him. He like jumps in the air, like gives me a huge hug, and like then I was like starting to get a little emotional, just because like being from Ohio, like everybody's got something to say to you about it.
Yep.
Like everyone thinks they're the first person to say something, or thinks like they're a comedian.
Yep.
I mean, look at him now. So yes, Kate, give him a huge hug. And then I was looking for my parents because my mom and dad were both there. I don't know if you guys know this, but both of my parents went to Ohio State.
Really? I don't think we might have talked about that, but I don't think I did know that.
Both my parents went to Ohio State. My dad played basketball at Ohio State. So yeah, obviously converted to Michigan fans now, and they really are converted to Michigan fans. But I was looking for them, and then like this random dude hugs me, like a passionate hug, and I was like, "This is a random guy," and and then I look, and it's Jake Butt.
No.
Oh shit.
And me and Jake have actually gotten like pretty close. I just like I've been talking with him, and like we'll go get breakfast. I'm actually getting breakfast with him tomorrow morning. But I see like it's him, and like once I saw him, I just lost it, because like I know he understands. He's from Ohio.
Yeah.
Like, I know he gets it, and like I was just hugging it out with him, and I was talking to him for like couple minutes or whatever, and then I saw my family and saw my mom and gave her a big hug and started crying even more. Then it was so cool, because like I saw my dad, and like he just had the most genuine smile on his face, and he was just so happy that we had beaten them, and like just beaten them in the way that we did. My brother was there and his wife, and it was just like I don't know, it's so nice to see them right after the game. And so I was talking with them for a little bit. One of my best friends came to the game too, who's from Ohio. And at this point in time, there's like a sea of people on the field.
Yeah.
It happened pretty quickly. It was crazy how fast everybody got down there.
Oh yeah, it happened real fast. So I turned around, and I was on our sideline, directly across from the tunnel, and just a sea of people on the field. So I had to assess the best way of going about doing that, getting over, get up in the locker room. So I just started my trek, and it took me about 25 to 30 minutes to get across the field. Saw a lot of like the old guys that I played with, which was super cool to see them all back there. And then obviously the fans were pretty excited, which was really cool to see. And like saw like other teammates out there that I didn't get a chance to say anything to after the game. I saw Aiden, Donovan, Dalen Baldwin, saw those guys, which was cool to see them out there, because I hadn't gotten to talk to them yet. But yeah, eventually end up making it up the tunnel. And then once I got in the locker room, I just kind of like, I just sat there. I missed the team meeting, like, but it's good to know I wasn't the only one. I didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I went up there. I just sat down, because it was a surreal moment. It really was. And then gave my oldest brother a call in the locker room, who wasn't able to come to the game. Gave him a call and talked to him, and then went on with my day. But
did the music start playing in the locker room after a little bit? Were you guys going starting the party there?
I think everyone was just so like amped up that like no one really knew what to do. We were like all just kind of freaking out. We're like, now what? What do we do? Like,
Right.
we now have practice next week, which we have never done before. Like,
Right.
Right.
but no, like I don't know. Dudes were like, guys were just hugging each other, and I don't think anybody could stop smiling. So it was real cool though.
That's awesome.
It is a day that I'll never forget. That's for sure.
Me neither. I couldn't stop smiling, and I won't forget it.
Yeah, we're feeling the same.
Yeah.
I think it was after like every touchdown, I was grabbing Justin. I was like, "This is the year! This is the year!"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude,
don't
shut
jinx
up.
it, dude. Don't jinx it. Come on, let's go.
I like it's so weird. I wasn't even like thinking about that. Like on the field, I wasn't like, oh, like finally, like we're gonna do it. It was just like I just like knew that was gonna happen. Like I didn't have any doubt that was gonna happen. And like anybody can say whatever they want. They can tell me that I'm lying or
Yeah.
what, but it is the honest truth that I knew that was gonna happen, and 100% of that team on our sideline knew that was gonna happen too. And like it was unbelievable. I will say that it didn't really set in though, that it had happened. Like it did not set in. A Saturday, like not then. Sunday, it was like, yeah, that happened. Like that happened.
Yeah.
And Monday is when it set in, when we went into meetings and like talked about it or whatever. That's when it finally set in. It was like, wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Crazy. And so, I mean, you said you saw Aiden on the field afterwards, and obviously he's been, one of the big leaders of this team too. He's talked about Ohio State from the get-go, right? Back when he went to the Big Ten media days, right? He's talked about Ohio State and just been, you've seen the passion and emotion on his face after the Penn State win, after the Nebraska win, like all throughout. And so tell us, like, obviously you've come through with him too, right? And kind of the same years. You've been with him for a long time. What has he meant to this team as the leader? How has he just like helped you guys get into those modes that you're gonna win, or that you feel this different way?
I think Aiden is like he's a big lead by example guy. I mean, he's definitely very vocal as well, but like where I notice him most is just like leading by example. Like it's very easy for somebody to talk about, oh, we got to do this, rah, rah, we got to do that. Like it's very easy for that to happen, but to go out and do it week after week after week, and like to stay like composed the way that he does. I mean, he's like super humble guy, which he certainly doesn't have to be. I mean,
Right.
He's an incredible football player. Like doesn't have to be humble, but he is. And like for him to just like take really, I mean, there's so many leaders on our team, but he leads by example. He's consistent with it, which is like phenomenal. Like that's one of the best qualities of a leader is like consistency, like time after time. And like him, Josh Ross, Brad Hawkins, there's so many dudes on that defense to lead, and on the offense, I mean, really take your pick on anybody on the team. Like that's the craziest thing about this year is that there have been so many leaders, and yeah, we have 4 captains who are like great leaders and really show the way. But you pick anybody on that team, like somebody is contributing somehow, some way, leading in their own way. And like, yeah, everybody's different from each other. Like some people talk more, some people just play more and just lead by example. It doesn't really matter either way, but I've never experienced anything like that before. Just like 140 dudes who just got each other's backs no matter what. So it's pretty special to be part of.
I want to talk about, like, now that we're on, kind of talking about Aiden a little bit, you've seen Charles Woodson, Desmond Howard have their Heisman moment in the game at Ohio State, right? Like, and, Hutchinson has 3 sacks, and he's absolutely dominating, the offensive lineman for Ohio State in that game. And he sets the Michigan record for sacks in a season. His like odds to win the Heisman have like skyrocketed. I mean, do you think he's got a shot?
Yeah, I think he should definitely win that thing.
I mean, he played like a fucking animal in that game. I mean, him and Hassan had 5 touchdowns in that game. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
You will not find anybody in college football who affects every single play as much as Aiden Hutchinson. It's not like people don't notice everything on TV. Like you follow the ball on TV and you notice like when quarterbacks get sacked, but you don't understand like the little nuances of the game where like, I mean, Aiden is like, he just disrupts everything. It's incredible. Like he will blow up plays and like you won't notice that on TV. You go back and watch a film, it's like, oh shoot, like he just absolutely destroyed those dudes. Like he just caved in the hole. Like, I mean, he truly, like, I've never seen anybody else affect every single play like Aiden Hutchinson. Is unbelievable.
Ro, what was that stat that you threw out there? It was like Ohio State only had like 14 QB pressures all season, and then Hutchinson had 15 in that game or something like that.
He had some insane stat like that where he had like pressured Stroud more in that game than they had like the entire season, or it was something to that effect. But the one where I don't know if you saw this on film, where he like is talking shit to the tackle and then literally pancakes him on his ass, was one of the most badass things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. This dude, he can talk about it and then he can just be about it. Like, it's
incredible,
not fake. Like this dude, he's a beast. Like, I don't know why you would want to mess with him, but that's fine.
Oh man, incredible. So, all right, well, I mean, we've talked a lot about what happened on Saturday, but the thing is that when you did get into those meetings on Monday, you did realize that there's a game this Saturday too, right? So, how do you even start to transition to Iowa? You know, we've heard Cade McNamara come on into the media, Josh Ross, some of those guys come on and say, all right, we're flipping the page. How do you take that emotion from what happened on Saturday and say, all right, we got to do the exact same thing again and bring our heat one more time, and let's go get this trophy?
I think the most important thing is understanding that, like, so we had like beat Ohio drill. We had that every day in practice. It was just our like heavy hitting inside run period. Because we were like, we beat Ohio, like beat anybody. But now it's called beat Iowa, because obviously the best team that we're going to play is now Ohio State, and it's now the Iowa Hawkeyes. And Monday, like obviously we addressed the game and what had happened on Saturday, but like there was no wasted time. We just hopped right into Iowa. We watched the film, learn and move on. But there's not really an option of like whether you want to get hung up on like what happened or not. Like, we're practicing for Iowa. Like, there's no, like, you literally cannot think about anything else but like what you have to do against Iowa. Like, what do they do, and like how are we going to benefit ourselves off of that? Like, there's not enough time to think about, oh, like we beat Ohio State. Like, yeah, we did. And like now we're practicing this week to play in the Big Ten championship, which is like somewhere we wanted to be and like where we wanted to talk about. Like, we talked about being here, and like, yeah, we haven't done it yet until this year, but like with go back to the leadership of the team, like we actually had a player-led meeting on Monday to like address it. Like, obviously real happy and excited about Saturday, but that was just one of our 3 goals. So, I mean, and the good thing about our goals is that they all rely on each other. Beat Ohio State, we go to the Big Ten championship. Win the Big Ten championship, we go to the college football playoff. So, I mean, I just think like this team has a really good understanding of what we have to do to get to where we want to be. And like Iowa's a really good football team, like straight up they are. And so I don't think anybody is satisfied with the fact that we beat Ohio State, because like I told you, we knew that was going to happen. So
I love that you keep saying that. It's just it makes me so happy, and it just like it was so evident on Saturday that was true, you know. And so I feel like, you know, continuing that attitude moving forward too, you know, I feel like that's what you got to keep doing, right? I mean, is that something that you guys are focusing on as well? Is like, hey, the same confidence, the same, you know, energy that we're trying to rally around. That's what we've got to keep doing to accomplish those goals.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of the Ohio State game and just like the energy we had in that game, we've never had that much energy. And like we've had a ton of energy. Don't get me wrong. Like we've brought the juice, but when we played Ohio State, like it was different. Like I'm not gonna lie, we were all in the field and I was like, this is not gonna be good for them. Like, I don't care like what they do or what they bring to the table. Like, yeah, they're gonna make their plays. They're a good football team. Like it's gonna happen, which we all understood that was gonna happen. So when it did happen, it's not like it like totally shell shocked us and we were just like, oh shoot, what now? It was just like, okay, like here's one of them. Now let's go. Like turn it back up. And so like we've like experienced everything this year. Like we understand what it takes to like fight back to win. Like Penn State, Nebraska. Like I don't care what Nebraska's record is. Like you go to play at that place at night is insane. And like to do what we did there is like super special. It was an incredible game. And like just dudes doing their assignments. Like that was a big focus for us, was like all you have to do is your assignment. And if you can just do your assignment well, and 11 guys can all do their assignments well, we'll be fine. And we were. So I think we all have a really good understanding of how to prepare well and also how to move on and not get emotionally vested in things, which I think is key.
All right. Well, I got one more question for you and then we can let you go. I know you've got a lot of film to watch. You've got a pretty big game to prepare for.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, on Saturday, what was your favorite moment or favorite play of the actual game?
Favorite moment or favorite play? I think whenever they had that scuffle with Roman on the ground, just like walk you through this. So I don't know how Roman got on the ground. I have no idea, but I know that number 26, I don't know what his name is, but he tried to walk over top of Roman, and I would have done the same thing he did. Like, you're not just about to walk over top of me. So he grabbed him. And obviously that dude was not a huge fan of that and decided to entirely rip his helmet off, which I can't imagine felt too good because that thing was strapped up. So
right.
But throws his helmet off or whatever. And like we got Andrew Stuber and Trevor Keegan coming down the line, meeting this dude, and like they are just towering over him. Phenomenal, incredible moment. Like that, like there's a picture of like Andrew and Trevor like standing over top of this dude. Like if you like somebody would ask like, oh, like what was the game like? You just show them that picture. Like,
yep.
Oh yeah.
Like this is what happened. Like, which team would you like to be on here?
Right, right.
But yeah, it was an incredible moment. And luckily it didn't go too far, which was good because we needed everybody. So
yeah, that's true as well. That's true as well. Well, you guys have anything else you want to ask Joel before we let him go?
I don't have anything else. Just keep pumping it up, Joel.
What What are you going to spend your pump it up money on?
Another chain.
Yeah, maybe another chain. Some might get some grills. A new car. We'll see. I don't know.
All right, we got to sell some more shirts. We got to get Joel a car. So people out there, please buy shirts.
Let's go.
All right. You can. I do want to let everybody know where you can go buy the shirts at. So it's blueby90shop.com. There's the Pump It Up collection on there. It's a fire shirt. It really is. It's got a little design of Joel with his hands in the air, pumping it up. It's legit. So if you get yours now, you can get it for, hopefully the rest of the season here, barring a win on Saturday. So buy them now, and then we'll keep this thing rolling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And now they understand why I'm on the shirt that says "Pump It Up."
Yeah.
I still love that comment. That kid was like, "Why is or how did he bring it to Michigan?"
Oh, that was so funny. I lost it. He wrote it and recorded it live.
Oh man, he was like, "Oh shit, my bad, man. I love your song."
It's so funny. I lost it. It was so good.
Oh man,
Joel actually did write "Pump It Up," and which very creative lyrics by you that you wrote that, dude. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while, but just on my creative hat and dove right into that. So
did
Warm it
they?
up to halftime
Oh,
show or
man.
something.
Oh my god. All right.
Oh.
So hey, we're gonna get in touch with the DJ at Lucas Oil Stadium. Make sure they play it on Saturday too for you. So
we literally there's no option.
no option. No option to win, no option to play Pump It Up. So there you go. All right, Joel, thank you so much for joining us once again. Our favorite guest for sure. We love having you on here. So we appreciate you. Good luck on Saturday, man. Go get it done. We need there's a space in Schembechler that needs a trophy in it, I think. And there's also a space on your finger that needs a ring, I think, too.
Yeah, I could my fingers are all messed up, but I think we can make it work regardless.
Yeah.
I wouldn't complain if I had a nice big ring. So yeah, we're gonna have to make that happen.
All right.
In worst case scenario, you can just throw that ring on the chain too. Just add it with
get another chain.
Yeah, you're perfect.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it. Go Blue.
Yeah, go Blue. Appreciate you guys.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Man, Joel is just the best. I love that dude. It's weird. It feels like we're best friends with him. It really does.
He probably gets off here. He's like, God, thank God that's over.
Yeah. I hope not, at least. I hope not. No. Hey, man, he's a great dude. And I think, hearing from him, all the insight from what happens on Saturday, and just what's happened throughout the season has been really, really cool. I think that is the type of dude that you want to be your fifth year senior, right? He's obviously not your like Aiden Hutchinson guy, right? Or even a Josh Ross, but he's still so important to this team. And I think having that personality where it's like lead by example, just like all around good dudes that want to be here and bleed Michigan, that seems like it's been the reason why Michigan is where they're at right now. Yeah,
I mean, especially when he brought up that embrace he had with Caden Colasar, just two guys from Ohio after that game. They understand the rivalry. They've been been in the rivalry their entire lives. And Joel's parents both went to Ohio State. His dad played basketball there, and he's fully converted them to the Maize and Blue. So even better. He's getting them transitioned over to our side. So that's awesome. Yeah, Joel's the man. I'm assuming we'll probably have him on a couple more times. Like you said, barring a victory this Saturday, and we keep pumping it up with him.
Yeah, Joel's great. I love having him on. Like, he just seems like the kind of guy who just every time he's telling a story on here, I'm like fully engaged.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So I love having him on. He's a great guy, and I love to see him and this team keep it rolling. keep pumping it up.
I think the funny thing is, especially now that we have like the YouTube like videos up, like it'll be like him telling a story and we're all just gonna be like cheesing on the fucking camera.
I smiled through the entire thing for sure.
I'll like
just
look at
'cause-
myself and I'm like, stop.
But I think that's the best part for everyone out there listening. Like, I'm sure you guys are engaged and love hearing from him. We're just the same, we are just as interested to hear what he's going to say, which has been super cool. I mean, it's just been a pleasure to be able to partner with him and have him on. That's our third time having him on, right? Throughout the year.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been fun. I mean, I would love, I'm going to have to go back and listen to the first couple on our Blue by 90 podcast before we even came over to Maize and Brew, and just hear what he was saying then, how it's different now, or, it seems kind of to be the same too. They've been pretty consistent as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for listening. That was a long one. For sure. So props to you guys for making it through here. But I mean, I thought it's Big Ten championship week. We got to go big with this one here. So it was fun to have those guys on and give insight to what's going on, what happened on Saturday, what's going on this Saturday. So thank you to those guys. And we're excited about this Saturday in Indy. I'll be there. So hit us up on social media if you're heading to Indy. We'd love to meet up. We're going to try and get a little meetup going at a bar or something like that. So shoot us a DM on either Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or something, and we'll let you know where we're at. But you can follow us if you aren't already at Blue by 90 on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We are on the Maize and Brew YouTube channel as well. And so we're excited about all that. Go Blue, beat Iowa. Let's go win the Big Ten.
Go Blue, beat Iowa. Let's go. Let's get to the playoff.
Let's do it.